Jessica here. Thanks again for tuning in, subscribing to, and liking my channel. If you haven't done any of the above, I would humbly request that you do so you can stay tuned into when I offer another class or tidbit of information, which I'm going to be offering you today. I was really inspired for today's offering because I got to use blocks for the first time in class since COVID. The studio that I teach at hasn't been lending out blocks, but today was the first time I got to use props, and I love props. I especially love blocks. They are such a versatile prop. If you don't have your own pair, I would highly recommend you stop what you're doing right now. Order a cork block or wooden block. If you must, use a foam block, but I don't think that the density that they offer is quite as informative as a cork block or a wooden block can be. Now, having said that, you can also get away with your William Shakespeare collection of books if you don't have blocks, and that'll do just fine. So for today, I'd like for you to start sitting how I'm sitting. And in Primal Vinyasa, we call this half primal squat. I've got a blanket here that's going to give me a little bit of support in my knees. And I could also take this second block and stack it underneath this block. So I'm a little higher. That's going to give my knee a little bit more support. If you need that, that's available to you. So in this primal squat position, first just sit tall and sit well and allow your breath to be easy and full, and you'll see my belly expand as I inhale. And as I exhale, my belly will just naturally recoil. Not clenching or trying to bring it in, just letting it be. Inhale, breath wide and full. Exhale, breath comes back to center. So keep breathing that way, naturally, steadily, easily as we go through all these motions, and I'll be giving you another workshop on the breath another time. But for now, take your other block and you'll bring it into your left hand. And first, just explore motion of your shoulder, right? So our shoulder joint is the most mobile joint, actually. So it doesn't take much to explore the motion in your shoulder. So just a motion through external and internal rotation with the feedback of the block. And you'll notice at what point you have a stopping point. For me, my shoulders are quite mobile, so my stopping point is pretty much at the very, very end range. And then the next time that you externally rotate, extend your elbow and reach your arm out a little bit more away from you. And then bring it in and internally rotate. And just explore that motion a few more times. And then begin to get a bit more curious. So as you internally rotate, could you spiral your block inward and then extend your arm behind you? Reach and extend, press and lift. And keep navigating all the ways in which your arm can move, your shoulder, maybe try different positions of the block like that, and explore what would happen if you held it on its more narrow end, its thicker end, and all the while connect to your hands. So your hands are quite incredible, right? It's our access point, our connection point to one another, to our environment. You know, it's how we make a meal, how we paint, how we craft something. It's our source of expression. Switch sides. So now your right leg down, your left leg forward, take the block into your right hand. And keep exploring your motion in and out. So as you explore the strength and the grip of your hands, explore the ways in which you can connect, right? Connect with your breath, your body, your internal landscape, if you close your eyes, your external landscape, if you open and watch. But most importantly, the strength, the grip. And as you connect into the grip strength, you really connect into your heart. Right? There's lots of studies that have been done that find a strong correlation between grip strength and heart health. And in Chinese medicine, they studied all the meridians that come into the hand that have connection points to the lung and to the heart. One more time. And then pause. Shift your weight forward to your hands and your knees. Take your blocks with you. And take your blocks on their second setting and hold your hands in this Lego grip position. So your thumb will be in, your fingers will be out. Neutral position. And then walk your knees back about a knee print or two. So you're not right stacked underneath your hips, just a little bit further back. Grip strongly into your hands and push your blocks away from you. Protract your shoulders. And keep your toes tucked or untucked. Experiment with what feels best in your shoulders. And then retract. Push the blocks away from you. Protract. Retract. Bring your shoulder blades together. And here we start to, again, integrate push and pull, but finding the stability and the strength in your hands. So with your hands here, there's a bit more access of the grip strength versus hands on the floor. I can still do the motion of my shoulder blades, but I miss the grip component that is so integral in my overall heart health and creativity. So the next time that you push back, step one foot back and then the other and come into a plank position. You can always do this with your knees down, by the way, if you need more support, right? That's going to be a progression, plank position. And then take your feet together. Open your knees wide as you push your chest toward your thighs. This will be called squat dog. Now, think about that protraction motion. Pull yourself forward as you round your shoulders, land in a high plank. Exhale. Keep pushing the ground away from you. Shift your hips back, down dog, squat. Pull forward, high plank. Push back, squat dog. And keep going through those two motions, keeping your breath steady, keeping it full. Play around with an exhale here, an inhale here, or vice versa. And then come down and rest. It's quite challenging. Roll out your wrist one way and then the other way. Take an inhale and take an exhale. So I'll speak for myself, my arms are quite long. So I have a very long lever arm, which means I have quite good flexibility. I don't have a lot of great strength. So these drills, I've honestly not been doing them as frequently as I would have liked. Over time, when I continue to integrate them and revisit them, I notice the strength, not just in my yoga practice, but in everything. My job is quite physical in physical therapy, as well as just doing things around the house. Giving my dog a bath, preparing meals. I notice in the ways in which I use my hands and how much stronger and more capable I am when I continue to practice drills such as these. So I hope that this gives you some strength in that way. Last drill I'd like to show you is a bit more intensive for the upper back and the shoulders. So take your blocks and place them so your palms are face up and you have the blocks in the low setting. Actually rotate your shoulders, extend through your spine, and then internally rotate your shoulders. Open and extend. You can play around with looking up. But keep your neck long as you do. Avoid the tendency to not throw your head back. And the next time that you open and extend, reach your arms out wide. And then exhale, round and coil, bring your arms together. Inhale, extend, lengthen your spine. Exhale, round and coil. Still feel the strength of your hands. If you can, click on the blocks on the end. And round, pull in. One more time, lengthen, extend. Exhale, pull in. Sit up tall and set your blocks to the side. Circle out your wrists. And then take your hands together. We're going to take a wrist stretch here. So keep the heels of your hands connected and slide the heels of your hands down towards your navel. Right? So the heels of your hands, if your wrists are limited in extension, the heels of the hands will want to separate. So do your best to keep them together, even if that means you just don't go all the way down. Give yourself 1 to 2 breaths. And then turn the backs of your hands together. Fingertips are still pointing up, so now your wrists are supinated, forearm supinated. Do the best you can to keep the backs of your hands together and then slide your hands downwards. Now we're getting into wrist flexion. So if there's a limitation here, the backs of your hands will want to lift away. So try your best to keep them together and breathe in and breathe out. Good. Release your hands, give them a little shake. And the last thing I'll offer you is a series that you'll do on your belly. So we'll call this prone position. So again, you can keep your blanket here, especially if you have sensitivity in your lower back. The blanket will be there to support some of the arch of your spine. Take some of the arch out. So if you need more support, roll the blanket up a little bit more. So take your blocks or your books down beside your body. And you can keep the blocks on their second setting like so, or turn the blocks face down. It'll be a little easier to grip the blocks if they're like so. And then reach back so you feel like the palms of your hands easily rest on the blocks, and then set your hands to the earth. For a moment now, just connect into your breath, right? So breathe wide and full into your belly. Feel the backs of your ribs expand. And as you exhale, feel your breath come back to center. Slide your hands, the palms of your hands onto your blocks, And feel your shoulder tips pull away from the earth. So create retraction. Squeeze your shoulders together, keep your head down. Press your palms down into the blocks and feel your triceps, the backs of your arms ignite. Push the tops of your feet down, push your pubic bone down. And as you connect into the lower half of your body, lift the upper half, right? And we'll work here. So this will be your first step of keeping extension and retraction of your shoulder blades. Neck is long, not arched, but just slightly gaze down. And then exhale, release. Right, so you can work on that for a few repetitions. Right? If you feel solid here, neck is long, shoulders feel good, then the next phase of progression would be to hold your blocks, squeeze them tight, and lift them off the earth about an inch or two. Breathe in, keep pressing your feet into the earth, and breathe out. Notice how when you exhale, there is accessibility for a little bit more length, and then release, lower down. Press your cheek down, whew, and let your shoulders rest. Take your hands under your shoulders, press your hips back towards your heels and take a child's pose. And for a little bit more of a tricep stretch, now that you worked your triceps, we'll stretch them out. Take one of your blocks or your books in your hand on the ends. Press your elbows down to the earth and then bend your elbows, bring the block to the nape of your neck. And then that might be a good enough stretch. If you feel like you can go a little further, walk your elbows forward and keep sitting your hips back. Start getting a stretch through the latissimus as well. Broad back muscle. Breathe in and breathe out. Release the block down and then slowly bring yourself up. All right. So a lot of good work for your hands. So let's give yourself a little restoration. So you can take your blocks, and if you have a bolster, this will be a good option for you to use your bolster as well. You don't have to use your blocks here. A bolster might be an easier position for you to lean back on. So we'll be taking supported fish and lean back onto a bolster or a pillow or a blanket. But I'll show you the blocks since we have the blocks. So take one block and place it on its low setting, right around the center of your mat where your shoulder blades are going to go. And then take your other block or a blanket and place it where your head's going to go. Hold on to your knees and slowly lower yourself down until your shoulder blades connect to the block. Now, there's a tendency for the block to be a little low, so make sure the block is just at the base, the bottom of your shoulder blades. You'll know when you're there because you'll feel a sensation of stretch versus a sensation of pinch. Block behind the head, rest on your occiput, and then your arms can either come out into a cactus bend in a goal post position, or arms beside you. So knees are staying bent here to allow my spine to stay neutral. Right? If you've been practicing this for a while and it feels okay to let your legs go down, do so as long as you don't feel an extensive arch in your lower back. If that's the case, rebend your knees. And then just breathe. So now in this shape, we're allowing a passive stretch to happen across the front of the chest. The pectoral muscles get a nice bit of retraction and depression. Right? Just counteracts what the pectoralis minor does as it pulls you forward into protraction. So notice your breath wide and full here. And connect once again to the meridian lines in your hands. Bring your awareness to your thumb, your lung meridian, to the tip of your middle finger, the meridian of your pericardium, the lining of your heart, and to your little finger, the meridian of your heart. With every breath in and out, feel expansion, feel ease, feel connection. Stay here for as long as you would like, as long as it is comfortable. When you're ready to gently sit, roll over to one side. Use your arm to gently press you upright. And then to counter that, just simply come into a seat with your feet flat down, and then just give yourself a little hug. Let your gaze go down and inward. And then bring yourself upright. So that is the practice I wanted to share with you today. Just a few little nuggets that I shared in my class earlier today. So yeah, just listen to your body, take what you need, leave what you don't. If you have questions and aren't sure about anything that I showed you, please write me a comment and I'll do my best to get back to you. And may we remember, as we connect to our hands, we remember our suppleness and our strength in our hands and resiliency there. And then we're reminded of the same strength, suppleness, and resiliency in our own hearts. That's my blessing for you today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.